Today's yoga class is for everyone, including beginners. Please consult with your doctor before beginning this or any new exercise program. Yoga is a great way to increase flexibility and strength, reduce stress, and maintain a healthy lifestyle. Before we begin today, always listen to your body, do the poses that you are comfortable with, and rest as often as needed. Hi and welcome, I'm Lisa Simchison and we're here inside of a kiln at Medelta Potteries, and I'm with Lindsay and Lenore again. In today's class we're going to stay on our mat and do lots of juicy stretches. So we're going to begin lying flat on our backs. So you can lie down with your knees bent and your feet at the edges of your yoga mat. Or you can extend your legs. You could even take butterfly legs where your feet come together and your knees open out wide. This is just a moment to come into this practice, to let go of anything you brought with you today. Maybe that's, your day at work, or maybe this is first thing in the morning. We're just gonna try to come into this practice with a clear mind. So notice your body and how it feels today. Bringing your attention to any areas that need a little extra love, and a little bit of kindness. And if you find any areas of tension, just breathe into them. And if distractions arise, especially if you're doing this at home and you can see under your couch and maybe there's lost socks or a dust bunny, or if it's my house, piles of dog fur. When you start to look around and you notice those things, just invite yourself back into this practice. Those things will still be there later. You can get them as soon as the class is over. But for the next 30 minutes or so, this is just about you relaxing a little bit and connecting to your body. And for lots of us, that's going to be the biggest challenge, is to stay in this moment. Just start to deepen your breath. Feel your chest rise and your belly expand as you inhale. You can exhale either out your nose or your mouth if it feels good. Sometimes if you're feeling tension or a little bit of stress or anxiety, breathing out through your mouth acts as a pressure release valve. Good, let's take 3 more really mindful breaths here, so really focused inhalation. And then really full exhale. Good, 2 more breaths. And after this last breath, take your time and gently pull your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big squeeze. Maybe rock a little from side to side if that feels good. And you can hold above your knees or even behind your knees, so more onto the backs of your thighs, depending on what feels best for your body. And open your arms out and let them rest on the floor beside you like a goalpost. And drop both of your knees to the right. So this is going to be a really gentle twist to start. So try to let that right leg come to the floor and your left leg will be wherever it can be. Your eyes can stay closed as you look over your left shoulder. Just a nice gentle twist. See if you can send your breath into the back side of your body, into your spine, into the rib cage. Good. And to transition to the other side, we'll let our feet come to the floor in the middle with the knees bent. And then take the legs to the other side, just so we're not putting any pressure on the spine. And again, you can look towards the right this time if it feels good, and close your eyes. Breathing into the back of your body. come back into the middle with your feet planted on the floor. We'll keep our feet right under the knees. You don't have to look, just kind of guess. Let your hands rest alongside your body. Then press your feet down into the mat. We're going to do a little baby bridge pose. So we'll start just by pushing the feet down so that you can lift your hips up off of the mat. Good. Just pause here. And then start to lift your arms and reach them up overhead so they're straight and they come back, and maybe they come right to the ground. So you're in this really long, stretchy pose from your knees right to your fingertips. We'll take a big breath in here. As you exhale, start to float your arms down and let your hips lower until they just graze the floor. And then we'll inhale and lift back up and behind. And exhale, bringing it all back down. Beautiful. 2 more, just like that. See if you can keep the length in your spine. So especially as you lift into your bridge, your tailbone is pushing towards your heels, towards your legs. Good. Just 1 more little bit of flow here. Inhaling to lift up and back. Exhale it down. Good. Just let your arms rest. Let your hips rest on the mat. Just pause here for a moment. Good. And then nice and gently roll to your left side. I'm changing it up a bit. We'll roll onto the left side. Use your right hand and push yourself up to a seat. Great job. And from here, we'll come onto our hands and knees. We'll move through a couple of my favorite poses, cat and cow. So we'll start by dropping our belly, lift up your head and even your tailbone. And the most important thing here is most of the time through our days, we kind of suck in our tummy. So we're gonna let our belly just drop. We're not holding it in, we're not sucking it in, and then we're gonna breathe into our belly so it's super full and you'll feel it expand. Then as you exhale, start to curl your spine right from your belly, curling in towards your back. Curl your spine, drop your head, come into this cat pose, pause here. Keep breathing into the back of your body, push your hands away from you a lot. Good, and then drop your belly, lift your head big, full inhale. And exhale, curl your spine. Nice and slowly. Start to move with your own breath. A few more. We're not going to count them. We're just moving. There's no rush. We're going to be here until we work out all of those kinks. Good. We'll do 2 more-ish. If you're going a little faster, you might get 3 more. If you're going extra slow, it might be 1. Good. Let's come back down into a tabletop here. And then let your rib cage move out towards the right. So we're pushing the right side of our rib cage out. Then drop your belly like cow, and then rib cage to the left, and round your back. We'll start to move this, and it can be little like we're doing, like I'm doing, or you can make it big, where you bend your elbows, you move your hips. This is all about feeling it. So you could close your eyes and don't think about what this might look like or what this feels like in your head. Think of how it feels in your body. After this last rotation here, switch direction. So you start with the left side moving, then rounding up. Beautiful work. Just finding that bit of rounding. A bit of release through your rib cage. 1 more. Big circle here. And then when you finish that last one, we'll settle back in. Good. From here, let's curl our toes under. I'll just turn to the side so you can see. We'll curl our toes under and then start to sit back onto your heels. For a lot of us, this is intense because we wear shoes all day. We cram our feet into shoes, and often we cram our feet into not so sensible shoes. So if this is way too intense and you feel like your shoulders are up by your ears and you're clenching your jaw, simply bring your hands to the floor. This is going to help take some of the pressure off. Keep your hips pushing back though. And when you want to come out of this, because you will, you probably do already, because I've been talking for a few seconds. When you want to come out of this, close your eyes and take one really mindful breath. And then take another really mindful breath until it's time to come out, which will be very soon, I promise. We'll all bring our hands to the mat. Come forward, lift up your feet and just wiggle out your toes and your ankles. Good, and for this one, I'm gonna turn right around so you can see. Let's take our right foot to the floor, and then the top of your left foot comes into the arch of your right foot, and then just sit back. So it's exactly the same thing. Our hips are pushing back, we're sitting onto our heels, and you might feel like if you move a little, it feels good. It maybe is way too intense and doesn't feel good at all. If it's too intense, again, the modification is to bring your hands to the floor. Good, just one more breath here. We'll all come to our hands and knees, roll out your ankles, and switch sides. Left foot comes to the mat. Right foot comes into your arch of your left foot, and then sit back, sitting up nice and tall. You can even close your eyes, finding a nice, calm breath. Again, if it feels good, to shift a little from side to side. These are some of my favorite stretches, especially if you like to exercise or you like to run, or even if you walk or you go to the gym. Most of the time we know we have tension in our quads, like the big muscles, our hips, and we need to stretch, but we forget sometimes about our feet. And a lot of imbalances start right at the foundation. Come forward onto your hands and knees, roll that out. And we'll step our right foot forward. So if you have to help it along, that's okay. And we'll bring our hands onto our thigh. If this is a lot on your knee, go ahead and double up your mat just by folding it over. You can just fold it over and pad your knee. Good. With your hands on your thigh, start to push your hips forward and down. If your knee is bothering you too, the other trick you can do is curl your toes under. That takes some of the pressure off. So we'll just pause here with our hips forward and down, stretching through the hip flexor of the left leg. If you need a bit of support from your hand, you can bring your hand to the mat, your left hand. Good. And then we'll all bring our left hand to the mat and start to slowly press that right leg straight. You could even bring your right fingertips to the floor. If you have really tight legs, you might be up here, and that's okay. Stay where you are. Wherever you get to, find a nice long spine. Keep your toes on the mat so you feel a stretch through the front of your shin. Then we'll point our toes, so now we start to feel the stretch in the back of the leg. Just stay with your breath. Good. Put that foot down and then move forward. We'll move through all three of those. So we move forward as much as our hips allow, and then back with the toes down. Then we point the toes. Good. Put the foot down, move forward. Good. And then back. This is our last time here. Keep the toes down and then point them up. Put your foot down, and we'll bring both hands down and step that foot back, the knee back. And step your other leg forward, your left leg. And when you're ready, if you need to pad your knee, go ahead and pad it. We'll come up onto our thigh. Good. And from here, start to slowly push forward. If you want to bring your right hand down, go ahead. If you get down and you find that your heel is lifting, Shift your foot forward a little. That will keep your heel down. And just breathe. Relax your jaw, so even maybe open your mouth and give that jaw a little shake, because often when we have tension in other parts of our body, suddenly our jaw clenches, and we don't want to create more tension. Nice and gently start to shift back, straightening that leg. Just pause here. Both hands can be on the floor, or you can be up onto your thigh. If you're on your thigh, don't push here because our knee is straight, so we don't want to push the knee back and hyperextend. Good, then point your toes up to the sky, stretching through your calf and your hamstring. Good, and we'll start to move a little, so we move forward. Then we'll straighten that leg, toes stay down as much as possible. And then toes up. Good, toes down and forward again. Toes back, or legs back, hips back, legs straight, and then point your toes up. Let's do one more. Toes down, hips forward and down, and then back. Keep that foot flat on the ground, and now lift the toes and put it back down. Good, we'll plant both hands and step that leg back. And let's step the right foot forward again. And this time we're gonna bring our right foot over towards the right edge of our mat. Curl your left toes under and lift your knee up so you can slide that leg back. Yeah, so we push our hips down. So what we're going to allow to happen, if it feels good, is to let the toes point out a little bit and let the knee drop open. Not everyone is gonna think this feels good. I'm lucky that I have pretty externally rotated hips, so I can let my leg drop out. If you're here and thinking, she is crazy and there's no way I can go further, stay there and breathe. It's totally fine. If you're here and think, I got more, I could go deeper, you can bring your forearms to the mat. Now, if you're standing up here and this is a big stretch, don't try to put your forearms on the floor. It's gonna be a little too intense for you today. Maybe not every day, but for today. We'll just take one more breath here. Good, place that foot back down and just straighten that leg a little so we can walk it over towards the left edge. And if you need to hold on to it and get it there, go ahead. We'll bring the shin right down so that our knee is on the mat. Then we'll slide the back leg back. You can keep your back toes curled under, or let your foot be flat on the floor. Draw your low belly in and up so we're not just dumping everything out here. There's a lot of strength. Push your legs down into the floor. You can stay right here, or if it feels good, start to fold forward, coming into a half pigeon. So we really want to pay attention here that we're not dropping into this right thigh, the right butt cheek. Our hips stay squared. So how can you do that? You can imagine pulling your left hip forward towards your left wrist and your right hip back a little. And just breathe. Again, relax your jaw. Relax your neck. Good. We'll stay here for maybe 2 more breaths. You might start to feel some tingling in your leg. That's okay, because as soon as we release, it's going to be a really amazing rush of energy back into your leg. Good. Bring your hands to the mat and press yourself up. Now you can stay right here, or we'll try for the bend. So bend your left leg and reach your right hand around and see if you can grab onto your foot. If you can, start to push your foot into your hand a lot so you feel your chest lift up. Big stretch for your left quad. Breathe. Big stretch for your chest. Take one more big breath in Without letting your foot go too hard, let it go gently, and then put it down with control. Place your hands on the mat. This is gonna be great, I promise. Curl your left toes under and lift your hips up to the sky and shake out that right leg. Just give it a shake. Good. After you've let all of that kind of energy move back into your legs, bring your knees back down. And we'll step the left foot forward. So let that left foot go to the left edge of your mat. Turn your toes out. Curl your right toes under and slide that right knee back. Let your left foot open up to the side as much as possible. Now, one side is always going to be tighter than the other. So if this is your tight side, find your breath, find a happy place, and be okay with that discomfort because it's gonna feel great after. And again, if it's in your body, you can come down to your forearms. If that's just too much, stay on your hands. And it's always, we figure it out, because some days, maybe the last time you did this lizard pose, your forearms were great, and maybe today it's not. So it's okay to test the water and see, how do I feel here? A little bit too intense, maybe I'm coming back. That's the magic about yoga, is every time you get on your mat, it's different. Your body's a bit different. Let's take just one more breath here. Good, let that left foot come down and then start to walk it across, or maybe use your hand to help it across to the right edge. Bringing your shin and your knee to the mat. Slide that left leg, or right leg rather, back. Then see if you can draw your low belly in and up so your spine is long, your heart is lifted. And then if it feels good, fold forward. And just notice for yourself, you don't have to look, but see if you can start to tune into your body. Are you dropping into the left thigh and the left hip? Can you pull your right hip forward a little more towards your right elbow, your right wrist? And push that left hip back a little. What happens if you push into the ground a little bit more with your legs? What happens if you draw the crown of your head a little bit longer? What happens if you deepen your breath? So it's just always an exploration of going a little deeper or backing off, moment to moment. I'll take 2 more breaths here. Good, press your hands into the mat, lift your heart, and we'll bend the right knee. Keep your right hand on the mat and reach your left hand back, grabbing onto your foot. If you can reach your foot, start to push your foot into your hand so you feel your chest rotate open. And breathe. Keep your low belly drawing in and up. Good. Without letting your foot spring down to the floor, just release it. Place your hand and foot down, curl those right toes under, and lift up to downward dog. Shake out that right or the left leg. Just wiggle it out. Release any sensations left over in your body. Good, and we'll come on down just to our knees for a moment. If sitting on your knees is not comfortable, you can sit cross-legged. We'll take our hands, and I'll turn around here so it makes a bit more sense. We'll take our hands and interlace them so that our thumbs are side by side, so they can press into our sacrum. From here, kind of roll your shoulders back. Keep your thumbs pushing into your back as you lift up your heart, and then pull your elbows out towards the side. So not back, but sideways. Opening up through your chest. If it feels good, you could look up. We want to feel this expansion across the front. Yeah, beautiful. Big full breaths. Now, if it's in your body and it feels good, you can start to straighten your arms down towards the mat and lift your thumbs off of your body. That doesn't feel so good in my arms and my shoulders, so I choose to keep my thumbs on my sacrum. But you can play with it, see how it feels. Good. See if you can open through your chest a little bit more. Take one more big breath in. Gently release down and just shake that out a little. Good. We'll go ahead and lie down onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big squeeze. Maybe rock side to side. Place your right foot on the floor with your knee bent, and then straighten your left leg up to the sky. Clasp your hands behind your thigh. Yeah, we'll hold behind the thigh for now. And start to gently pull your thigh in towards your body. Breathe. If you can, and it's available to you, you could walk your hands up to your calf, or maybe even your foot. And if you want to make this a little more intense, you can lift your head off of the mat like you're trying to get your nose to your knee. There's no wrong way to do this as long as you feel a nice stretch through your hamstring. Good. Let's just take one more breath in here. And nice and gently release your left foot down to the mat with your knee bent. And extend your right leg up to the sky. Hands start behind your thigh, just a nice gentle stretch. Start to pull it into your chest. And if it feels good here, you can walk your hands up to your calf. You could lift your head off of the mat. You could even grab onto your foot if it's available and it doesn't cause too much of a strain. Good. See if you can pull that leg in just a little more and release down. We'll extend our legs or not for Savasana. So we'll set up for Savasana. You can extend your legs all the way down your mat. You can make a teepee with your legs so your feet come to the edges of your mat, knees come in to support each other. Close your eyes. Just allow your breath to relax. So go ahead and relax the crown of your head. Relax your forehead, smoothing out any creases. Soften your eyes. And let your cheeks and your jaw relax. So your jaw is barely holding on. Let this feeling of relaxation move down through your neck. Just soothing and releasing any tension. And let this feeling move down through your shoulders, all the way down through your arms to the tips of your fingers. Letting your arms get heavier. Feel the back of your body relax down into your mat, getting a little heavy, a little more relaxed. And feel your chest relax and your belly relax. And your hips relax and your legs. All of the big muscles in your lower body, just feel them completely relax. All the way down to your feet, your toes. You can stay in your Savasana as long as you'd like, as long as you keep this feeling of relaxation. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.